Yo, what's up, guys? Listen, I'm gonna put out a little tips and tricks to help you improve your Paragon game. And I just want to go over a few things that some players may not understand or know. And so to start with, I just want to mention your teammates are all their icons are at the top of the screen. Usually you have your other four teammates with you. And if you want to combine your ultimate ability with them, and whether or not you want to know if they have their ultimate ability, you can see there's a glow. Like you see the shine in the character's emblem. When I use my ult, it goes away, and I no longer have that shine that sits in this character screen. And so when you look up, you will see all of these characters either glowing or just dull. And when I get my ultimate back, you can see the difference. You can tell that there's this glow in the game. So that's tip number one. Now, tip number two, I notice a lot of players don't understand that this game is all about getting last hits. I watch so many people not paying attention, they're throwing their skills, they're killing shit, and they're not getting the last hit on the minions. Now, I messed up because apparently at level 18, I one-shot them with my level 1 ability, but that's kind of neat too. So when your skill's maxed out, without even having gear at level 18, your skill does enough damage to clear wave as gadget. But you want to be focused. The entire game is about last hits. The game is all about precision and trying to gather as many last hits as you can, and that provides you with an edge over your other teammates. So focus on getting those last hits more than anything else, because every coin matters that you receive in the game. So if you want to practice, and I missed one, so that's 20 gold or 15 gold or 50 gold depending on the Tions that are coming out. The front line is 20 gold apiece, and the back line is 15 gold apiece. Oh, see, and tip number 3, I guess, is the red bar. When you see it change, it means that it can go, it's ready for last hit, and you'll get rewarded with your gold. Another thing, let me buy some items so I can kill this quickly. But so that's my Gadet build, or Gadget build, that I prefer to use in these scenarios, or in any ranked game, any game that I play, any casuals. It doesn't spawn the underling, the small one. Can I make that spawn? Prime Guardian, Prime Spirits. The Prime Spirits are just these guys. Okay, well, here's one thing most people don't know is how important these spirits are. And so you have Fire, that's water. Where's earth, wind? What the hell? I'm so confused. Well, that's a wind. So anyway, the wind spirit gives you 3% movement speed out of combat, 5% attack speed, and 3% cooldown for your team for the entire game. There it is. There's the message. The water spirit, it gives you 2% missing MP and HP per 5 seconds, a small buff to your Tions, it debuffs to tower, and oh, maybe not. I think that what I wrote down was that's the prime card. What the hell? Die.
And destroy.
What does it say here? What does it give you?
Full charge.
Okay, so it's just the mana. 2% missing mana. MP5. I'm gonna go get some. Actually, I can just. Yeah, so the passive for what was that? Anyway, regardless, hey, I'm gonna repeat. Fire, 4% physical magical power. Earth, 5% physical magical defense. Wind, 3% movement speed, attack speed, and 3% cooldown. Water, 2% missing HP MP5 per 5 seconds. And these buffs, you'll notice that they I'm having technical difficulties here. They stack. Oh, here it is here. I just learned something new. When you go into the character screen, it actually shows you what buffs your team has, and you can collect all 5. Huh. There we go. So here it shows the score of your team, what buffs that they have. Wind Spirit, movement speed 3%, attack speed 5%, cooldown 3%. Water Spirit, 2% regen of lost health and mana every 5 seconds. Fire Spirit, physical and magical power plus 4%. And then Earth is physical and magical defense by 5%. And then I'm not sure what the last one is, to be honest. Let's go kill the big guy and see if Prime Guardian gives you an extra buff here in this slot. And whether or not it stacks.
Tesla Dome, good to go. Yo, Tesla Dome.
Okay, so let's see if it's... Now, this little guy here is just 3 basic attacks. Gives you back mana. 100 mana, and then instantly, and then 200 mana over 5 seconds. And these guys are... excuse me. This guy is a blue buff, and he gives you cooldown, gives you mana, and cooldown. Oh, it doesn't stack here. The blue buff gives you 10% magical power, 10% cooldown, mana regen, and a 300 HP shield. This little guy is found on the dual lane, no, the solo lane side, and gives you HP 5 back.
Tesla Dome, good to go.
I think it's a couple hundred, and 60 gold. But it's not really worth missing your wave for. So if you push their wave into tower, and you're fortunate enough to push your lane up, then you can run down and pick up that extra little 60 gold. But other than having complete pressure, going down and getting it, it's not really worth it. Same as this guy is in the dual lane, and it's just mana. Usually it's good for your support. And then here's your red buff in the game that the jungler, physical junglers usually pick up, which is 10% physical power. It applies a small dot and a 15% slow on players.
Watch the birdie.
These are just your typical jungle camps. And that's all the buffs in the game. Now, I don't know if this slots for... Let me respawn them and see if they stack. Oh, it does. Huh. Interesting. Now what happens if you get 6?
And destroy. Yo, Tesla Dome ready. Don't be back.
Nothing. So you can get 5 in a game. And they last all game. So outside of farming, the other thing I wanted to kind of point out is warding in the game. I notice a lot of people don't understand the warding system. Now, I want to find a patch of grass in this. If you place a ward outside,
Tesla Dome at full charge.
somebody can run in the open on the map, and when they enter inside the circle, they'll see an eye over the top of their head. And they'll know that there's a ward in the location. They'll drop a ward, they'll find your ward, and they'll shoot it, counter it. And so to avoid that, you place your wards inside the grass. If they're in the grass, they're invisible just like you are when you enter inside the grass. And so when you're running outside the game, and you enter into a warded area, if it's in the grass, there will be no eye above their head until you enter. So there can be, the area can be fully warded up and you'll never know until you enter the patch of grass, and then you go, oh, there's an eye over my head, and you'll know that you need to counter ward that patch of grass, and you'll find the ward. And I noticed so many players just putting wards out in the open rather than putting them in a patch of grass. The other tip is wards for your support. And so when you have your abundance stone, you can place 2 wards, one that you bought and one from the abundance stone. And then when you upgrade your abundance stone, you can have 3 wards, 2 from the gem itself, and then you can also lay down a 3rd ward. So when you get finalized and you finish your transaction and you get all the way up to the top, then you can lay down 4 wards at one time as a support. And that's one of your main roles as a support, is to grant vision for your team. You want to run around the map, placing them in strategic locations. Usually, every time one of your prime spirits levels or is about to spawn, you want to get a ward on it. And another tip or trick is to try and place it inside its body, so it's hard for the other enemy team. It wastes time, it makes it difficult for them to try and shoot, blow up, kill your ward. Other than that, that'll probably sum up the small amount of tips and tricks that I've come across in this game up to date. The other topic that I touch on a bit, I guess, would be itemization, how to build your character and characters. There's certain characters like Narbash. You see a guy like this as a support. He has Inspirational Anthem, which is a massive AoE heal for his team. Anytime this guy is against you in a game, you want to build anti-heal. There's a crit for all the carries that are building crit. It stacks 3 times and can give you 45% anti-heal, which really kills this guy at the end of the day. And it applies it to whichever target you're attacking. So it makes Narbash's job that much harder. Or any jungler who is ability based, you have Ghost Axe, which has physical damage. Anytime you apply physical damage, it reduces healing by 40%. Again, a must-have. Sage Whip. That's the mage version of Ghost Axe. You got a mage that, like Gadget, who can AoE dot an entire team in one fight. You can literally apply 40% reduced healing to everybody on their team. It's massive. So these are your 3 options in the game to counter this character here. If you're in a matchup where you're playing against a Murdoch and a Twin Blast, a Murdoch and a Kalari, Sparrow and a Wrath who's building crit, It, if you're in a solo lane against Revenant, whose main build in the game is all crit, like he's building what is going on? It wouldn't let me open. His first item usually is the main crit item in his build, this treasure sword. Then he goes into other crit items, and so usually he has 60-80% crit by the time he's done building his character. A great counter to Revenant or double ADCs in your game is Guardian of Haleen, which reduces critical damage by 25%. And it's one of the better items in the game for countering the power output that these ADCs have. Now, if you have double tanks, you see a Rampage and a Steel, you see a Sevrog Rampage, you see a Heavy Warriors, you see a Chimera, a Grox, Aurora, you see anybody that's a tank, a warrior in your game. You see two of these characters in your game. Chances are you're going to want to build a pen item such as this chainsaw, or if you're a mage, this blaster. So these are two of your main, one's physical, one's magical. And here's your third one for, it's a physical, but if you're a cooldown, you're not, this is auto attack based. This is if you're skill based. And then this is if you're a mage. So you have 3 items in the game to counter those tanks, or if those players are building multiple physical defense items in the game. You look at your builds, you pay attention to what the other team's building, and if you see them building, stacking physical defense items, you want to build a counter item to that, to cut that down, to make it easier to kill them. Now, if they're building health items, if they're just stacking health items in this game, and you see them, whatever, 250 health, 400 health, 500 health, and whatever, 200, they're just stacking items. They're support, frontline, they're solo laner. One of the best items in the game for the carry is Merchant Jewelry Box, which every auto attack deals 6% of the target's health. Well, 6% of, let's say, Rampage. Let's do a Rampage build, and let's build him up with, we need some money, and we need to apply some levels. So we got our levels. He has 2576 base health, and then he puts on this magical defense item, which is super cheap and gives you back 6% of your health every 30 seconds. it's pretty fantastic anytime you get CC'd. So usually Rampage is building these items: 300 health, 250 health, 400 health, and then what's maybe this item and this item, and then there. So here's a health build: 5086 HP. At 5086 HP is 6% in auto attack, plus 204 physical defense. As a carry, if I want to melt this tank, I want to have a chainsaw, and I want to have a jewelry box as my items. This chainsaw deals 15% bonus physical damage when whoever you're killing has 14 or has more than 1400 HP than you. And then you have your jewelry box that does 6% of the current target's health. Well, at 5086, you would have, let me bring up my calculator here. So 6% of that, let's do 6 times 5086 divided by 100. So you're going to do 305 damage per auto attack, just based off of if he's at full health. Your first shot, your first auto is going to be 6% of his health. At 305 plus whatever your power is, so you're doing 500-600 damage in auto attack to a tank that's if not more. I mean, I can't play out this scenario because I can't add any options to these characters. I can't add in anything here, but I mean, it's definitely a very important item in the game. Other important items in this game: mages, spirit teardrop. It's probably one of the better items. It creates havoc. Players can't run away because it puts a dot on them for 3 seconds. That does it's the same. It's the mage's version of jewelry box, but it's going to do 6% of their health over 3 seconds. So it's 3 dots every second. So it keeps them in combat for 3 seconds after you hit them with a spell. If you're a mage, like if you have a howitzer ultimate, if you're a mage, one of the best items on him for landing is to keeping people in his ultimate range from running away. Now his ultimate is a massive circle. Now here is a mini Moda. It's a slow. When it slows players for 1 second by 30% every time your skill lands.
Make it rain is good to go.
Now when you make it rain, it shoots a ton of little damaging effects before the major one lands. And if you do it right, you can definitely trap people in your ult. They have a really hard time getting out. So ultimately you want to hit them with your right mouse button, which adds a slow, and then launch up into your ultimate, and then so you're gonna slow them and refresh your slow. So that's an important one. Again, the anti-tank, or the anti-heal for a tank, for a frontline, is this Zinc Claw barrier, which reflects damage and reduces target's healing by 30% every time you're hit. And it refreshes over and over and over again, and it lasts for 3 seconds. If you're jungling, if you're in the jungle, Destroyer Stone is your main starter item, but when you have 650 gold, you can upgrade it to Stonebreaker, and it's a cheap upgrade that allows you to farm much quicker, and it allows you to use it on players. So if someone's trying to get away, you can now, instead of having your Destroyer Stone that you can only use on minions, you can now use your Stonebreaker on players, and it applies a dot. It reduces their movement speed by 20% for 2 seconds, and it adds it does 90 damage over 3 seconds, which can ultimately get you a kill. If they're running away, it puts that dot on, which can root a player in position, allowing you to catch up and finish the kill. Or if you need an escape, you gotta build gap between you and whoever's chasing you, you can throw this on them, apply a 20% reduction in their speed, and give you enough time to get into your dash, so that as your dash is loading, you're getting away, building more distance between you and the other team, whoever's chasing to try and kill you. Now, that's about all that I have for some tips and tricks right now. Hope it helps.